I guess first off, I hope you're staying warm. We are in a real cold snap, and it is definitely, we're kind of in like that part of winter where you start thinking about summer. And
yeah, a little bit.
Is it too early to start planning for summer in Newtown? I went and got my pool passes.
Wow, that's really looking forward.
I had time.
Yeah, it's bitter this morning and bitter this weekend, and I hope that people are making plans to stay or find somewhere where they can stay warm this weekend. Our library is always a good source if people just need to go somewhere to warm up a little bit, because it's open during the weekend, during the day, during its regular hours.
It's still open.
Oh yes, our library is open.
Okay.
The C.H. Booth Library, yes. As a matter of fact, I did hear from the children's librarian this week, and she was concerned because she does hear rumors around town that people are not aware that the C.H. Booth Library is actually open to the public now. They're being careful, and they are asking people to always wear a mask when they come into the building. They're asking people to they have hand sanitizer everywhere. That place is immaculate, I will say, having been in it. But yes, the library is open.
Well, that's good to know. Nancy, we look at the pages of the Newtown Bee, and we listen to the radio, and COVID is still the lead. And I hope you can give us an update on where we stand heading into February.
Right. COVID is still an issue, and we have had 2 more deaths in Newtown since the last time that we reported. But here's something that people can do is go to the Newtown Bee YouTube channel, where they're going to find a video that we made this week. And it is our health director, Donna Culbert, and our first selectman, Dan Rosenthal, talking about how things are progressing, giving some very good information that people are going to need, especially as we begin to be able to provide our older residents with the vaccine.
Any update on that? How is that rolling along?
There are 2 vaccination clinics in town, but they are full currently. So people are still being asked to go to the town website, newtown-ct.gov, to sign up and register to get their vaccine. And there will be other ways for them to get it.
So basically, we here in town are dealing with the same issues that every other municipality in Fairfield County and the state of Connecticut are dealing with.
Yeah, but we're doing a pretty good job. I mean, the vaccines that we get, we are doing our best to get them into the arms of people who need them as soon as possible and people who are eligible. But I find it very reassuring that Connecticut is one of those states where they don't waste vaccines. If there are extra vaccines and everybody who is eligible has received one, that wants one, we can still find somebody who's willing to take one of these extra doses. And I think that's incredibly smart.
Yeah. And again, thank you to you and John Voquette. This week we talked about this on WPKN, and I think it's pretty clear that we have a handle on it here in town. What are we going to find in the Newtown Bee this week?
Well, planning and zoning has been very busy in the month of January. They had an application from the Town of Newtown Board of Selectmen for text amendments to the Newtown zoning regulations as they apply to Fairfield Hills. And this, of course, goes back to the whole housing issue. So there have been a couple of meetings on that with public hearings, one a little more contentious apparently than the other, but the amendments they were pretty minor amendments to the text, were passed this past week. The critical thing for people to know is that all of the boards, all of the commissions look for public input. If there is something that you're very concerned about, as a lot of people are, about what does this housing component mean, what could it mean up at Fairfield Hills, they need to get in touch. They need to listen to the board meetings. They need to talk to the people who serve on the boards. Otherwise, these people don't know what it is that the public really wants, and they can't move forward in a way that's going to make most of the community content. The other thing, they've also approved a 16-lot subdivision off of Berkshire Road. And, anytime there's a new subdivision that goes in, people are concerned and they're worried about wetlands and they're worried about traffic, especially off of Berkshire Road, which is Route 34. So that was passed. They also reviewed again Aquila Nest Vineyards, looking for changes to regulations for the vineyards. And that public hearing has been continued to the next meeting. So, they've been addressing a lot of things that affect our community and have been quite busy listening to people and, thinking about the best way to approach some of these.
What do you think the hesitation is at Fairfield Hills? I mean, what do the lion's share of people that you talk to want to see happen?
It really is all over the place and has been ever since Fairfield Hills came into the town possession. Right now, voters agreed at the November elections. They agreed that they want the town to consider not just commercial element, which has been hard for the town to sell up at Fairfield Hills, but commercial elements that might include residential housing. Now, the conflict with that is that numerous surveys over the years, residents have said, we don't want residential housing up there. But they also don't really want to pay to have these buildings demolished. And right now, these buildings are some of them are dangerously falling apart. And the town's either going to have money to take down these buildings and make it a safe area for people, which, is not a free thing to do. Or they're going to have to look at some other alternatives that might make commercial more attractive to developers. Now, this is not to say that every developer that says, I want to put in 2 buildings worth of apartments is going to get approved. It goes through a lot of process, and people have to speak up every time they hear about a developer's proposal and say, this concerns us, this does not concern us, we like this, we don't like this. Otherwise, and you also have to trust that these are elected officials and volunteers who really do live in town and care about the town and don't want to do anything that's going to be detrimental in the long run.
I wasn't joking with you. I did go get I got our summer passes. So I walked around and I looked around and I really can see both sides to this when you walk around Fairfield Hills. First of all, there is a character to some of these buildings. I would love to see some of them preserved. The art that they put on some of them is a nice Band-Aid, but something definitely needs to be done. And it could change the character of that part of town for sure. But it also seems like just a waste to let it all go.
Right. Well, it's not going to let it all go. I think that there is going to be a definite movement one way or the other. They're either going to find developers who are willing to work with the town in a way that makes it an attractive place still for people to go. But I think that people do have some valid concerns. One of them is parking up there. We don't want open space, green space taken away and paved over. That would really ruin the aesthetics of the place, as would parking garages built up. I think that has to be looked at very carefully if you're going to be adding residential housing. People need to park their cars somewhere, but people also go up to Fairfield Hills for a lot of activities in normal years. I think that one of the other concerns is, how will residents react in the long run to living somewhere where it's a public space? It's a lot to consider.
And a good way to think about it and consider and stay up to date is by reading the Newtown Bee. Nancy, what else is in the pages of the Bee?
Well, people are always asking us, where do our stories come from? How does this story happen? So we have a little series that goes in semi-regularly. And this week we have one about how we do it. How one of our recent stories was developed from the time we heard the suggestion to the time it finally got into print. So I think people are going to enjoy reading that. And I think they're going to enjoy reading about our Newtown Bee Sportsman of the Year in the sports section. It's a very different Sportsman of the Year this year, and I don't want to give it away. but people are going to be surprised, I think, when they read this. One of the things I want to kind of go back to about, we have the video this week with the information about COVID. These are not the only videos that the Newtown Bee has produced. We have been really up on taking care of things. We've had a series on diversity discussions. We had interviews with people who are running for election in the fall. These are all viewable on our YouTube site and very informative. And you will see, a continuance of these videos that help our community know how we are approaching things.
And I can link in the comment section or just below, I'll link our two channels so that some of the folks listening can find more content on your channel.
So I mean, there's a lot going on in town, despite the fact that we are dealing with this pandemic.
And that it's 13. And that it's 13 degrees outside.
Yeah, above zero though. Above zero.
Nancy, anything else you'd like to add?
Just, I hope people are looking forward to the next issue of the Newtown Bee, where we will have an interview with the Connecticut Mother of the Year, who happens to be from Newtown.
Very nice. All right. Well, again, what is the website and where can people go for more information?
NewtownBee.com.
It's like when someone asks you your phone number.
It's like if someone asks you your name, I don't know. NewtownBee.com is where they want to go to find information on our website, which is updated daily, or stop by the office and pick up a copy of the Newtown Bee.
That's great.